State of the Real Estate Market Address for Madison, Alabama. It is December 2024. We are a month post-election. It's also holiday times. It's also about to get pretty cold. You know, January and February are typically pretty cold months, which maybe keeps some buyers inside. I'm not sure. So if real estate is top of mind for you right now and you're trying to figure out should you buy or sell now or in the coming days, weeks, months, Beau Miles, he is going to clue us all in. Beau, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us about real estate?
Like Erica said, my name is Beau Miles. I'm the president of Redstone Realty Solutions. We've now been doing this, I think, like 35 months, 3 years. So yeah, we're right on top of 3 years. I feel like before we go any further, if we should have been smart and had champagne to celebrate that we got past the election. We no longer have to listen to any ads from any party. It's wonderful. It's a blessing.
Yeah.
I'm glad to be done with it.
Me too.
But yeah, so we are done with the election. So what does that mean? And what does Christmas mean? And all these different things like that. So let's dive into the Madison numbers again. Just the normal zip codes, 35756, 35758, and 35757. Getting all those in my head and not mixing them up was a little harder than I thought. But let's kind of dive into them. So right now we have 726 houses on the market. Compared to last month, that's 34 more than what we had last month. So what does that mean? It means there's more houses on the market. Now, what it implies to you is that more people are actually putting their house on the market to sell, which is a big thing because most people right now are sitting on an interest rate that's 2.75, 3. So that kind of tells you the market's still moving, that we still have some movement in it. Right now we have 3.5 months of inventory. That's gone up a little bit. We were sitting on about 3. So what does that mean? It means we're still technically a seller's market. 6 months is where that we actually say is a balanced market. 6 months says we have enough inventory that if we put nothing else on, that in 6 months at our normal rate, at how fast we're selling and buying houses, is when we would run out of houses.
Okay.
So that also means our average days on the market, 68 now. So I was hearing somebody last night, they were talking and they were like, it's okay if our house sits on the market a minute. It's going to sit about 2.5 months before you get your contract on average, just in Madison. So you need to kind of set those expectations. Now,
okay,
let's kind of chat about this, that the median price is still 107 foot. That's going up.
Okay.
We're still sitting over $430,000 average prices. We're still going up in pricing. So how does this affect Christmas? Well, here's what we know. After an election, we typically see a bump up in buying and selling across the board.
Right.
You typically will see that. You typically will see interest rates over the next year after begin to decline. You almost always see prices going up after an election year. So what does that actually imply to you? Once again, I get made fun of for saying this a lot. It's a great time to buy because there's a real estate slogan that says the best time to buy was yesterday, the second best time is today, and the worst time is tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because our prices are always going up. So at Christmas, and it's cold and it's rainy and it's yucky, how does it affect? Well, I see that pretty tree up behind you, Erica. I've got my Christmas decorations, my birthday boy mug.
Wait, show that again. You glazed over that.
Yeah.
It's not both. It's Jesus.
I mean, we got to celebrate him. But what does it mean? What it typically means is we're seeing 68 days on the market. That will probably increase a little bit over this next month or two is my guess. But that price and what you're getting off your house, traditionally we see that a house decorated for Christmas, ready to go, all those things, actually, while it will sit on the market longer, will get closer to their list price. Because right now, everybody's house smells good. Everybody's house is warm and inviting because that's what we try to make our Christmas houses feel like, right? So it typically brings a little bit more hominess to the market. But they sit a little bit longer because it's cold. People are busy. They don't want to get out. They're waiting to see what the market does. So that's kind of what I expect to see over the next month is that days on market to increase, just a smidgen, a couple days, nothing major. But if we had the exact percentage of list price to sell price, which I can find, but I don't have today's version, I think that gap will decrease. Sellers are still negotiating. We're seeing a lot of sellers negotiate closing costs and fridges and TVs and all the good things like that. So that's kind of what I think we got coming.
Okay, so question for you. You talked about expectation management. Homes are sitting on the market for an average of 68 days. Over the course of the next month, that number likely will rise, let's say
Whoa.
to 75 days. And
Oh, hell, brother.
even though you know that, even though your expectations are set, you still hit that 21-day mark. It's crickets. There's no one interested, and you start to get whacked. You're panicky because your home is beautiful and you
Yeah.
thought yours would be the exception. What should a buyer do if they're starting to get antsy, but maybe it has only, quote, been 2 to 3 weeks?
Yeah.
Or a seller, excuse me. What should a
No,
seller
you're
do?
fine. I knew where you were going. I hate to say it this way. That's a very normal scenario.
Right. I imagine it is.
And so what I hate to say is, unfortunately, the thing is, know it going in. But if you do, then you've got to remind yourself of that truth. Like, we always talk about in our home, like feelings aren't truth tellers. Feelings are thermometers. They just kind of give us an idea of where we're at. They're
Yeah.
not telling us what we're actually sick with.
Okay.
Right. And so take that into this. Like, you're feeling like your house is this. You're feeling all these different things. But that's not the truth. The truth is the average days is 68 days on the market. And that's average. So that means a lot of them will go longer, some will
Sure.
go shorter. But so
Yeah.
you've got to kind of take that moment and always be reminding yourself, always, like I've said, every single podcast, have a great agent who can remind you of this. Have an
Yeah.
agent in there who can tell you, hey, Breathe, I've gotten 4 calls this week.
Yeah.
They can't come see it till next week, or they're wanting to see it after Christmas, or they're wanting this, or they're wanting that. So make sure you're opening those lines of communication with your agent and tell them, hey, I'm a little panicky right now. Should I be nervous? And a
Yeah.
normal agent right now is gonna be like, no, the average days on market is 68. Every house in our market will sell. It will sell.
Yeah,
You just gotta be
question for
patient.
you. This is going to put you on the spot a little bit, but I know you have an answer. So, someone is sitting at home and all of us, they love to play on Zillow. So many of us love to play on Zillow. Their dream home pops up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
They were not planning on selling their home, but this is their dream home. But the offer has to be contingent on the sale of their home, right? They know they
Okay.
can't carry two mortgages. So, they put in this contingent offer, but
Hmm.
they really don't feel like they have time to wait 60 to 70 days to sell. Are there any clever options, or is that really truly just the reality?
Boy, yes, there are tons of clever options on this. You've
Okay.
got to make the decision of how clever you want to be.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is you gotta have your risk reward tolerance up here. So if
Yeah.
it is your dream home and you can afford it, so you got to ask your loan officer, can we afford 2 mortgages? And if they go yes, but you just go, I don't want to. So let's take that scenario first. Yes, I can. I don't want to though. Well, what you can do is you can put your house on the market, but you can also go get what's called a HELOC, home equity line of credit, or a home loan. It's a second mortgage, is what a lot of our parents called it. But what you can do is get that to give your down payment to get into the other house while the other one sells. As soon as you sell, they will pay off every bit of that. You'll pay a little bit of interest on them. It's not the end of the world. But that is how a lot of people can go ahead and get into the home they want to do. Other options to do, or you're able to word the contract in such a way, like for me, when I see a house contingent on it, what I do is I say, hey, if I'm the selling agent, I say, hey, I want to make this first right of refusal, which means I'm going to keep this house on the market. And if somebody else comes along to buy it, you got 24 hours to remove your contingency, or end of story.
Yeah.
Now, what does that mean? That means a buyer doesn't want to, you don't want to let that happen in your contract. You want to say, hey, no, I want to do this and that. So you can put up some higher earnest money. You can do some different things of
Mm.
that nature to help make your offer feel a little more secure to your seller.
Yeah, that's great. Hey, Bo, are people still moving to Madison specifically for our school system? I feel like I've heard that just people all the time are telling me they move here for the school system. That's still a thing?
That is still our number one driving force by far. Absolutely. Because you can work in and around Huntsville, but you can go here, and we have great school systems. We have all that different ability. We have all those different abilities to have some great education programs. I mean, my kids right now are coming home talking to me about what they're learning in school, and I'm just like, man, why are y'all learning that in second and fourth grade? Like, when
Yeah.
did that start? And they're like,
Yeah.
oh, this is what we learned. And so it's a great. That's still by far our number one.
So home values really are holding. I mean, homes are really holding their values.
Holding the values, gaining value. I expect
Yeah.
to see this next year. There's no reason to not think that we won't increase in value. There is still rumor that we're going to get Space Force.
Yes,
Some
there
people
is.
say it's not rumor anymore, but until it's here, I'm not going to believe it with all the back and
Of
forth that we've
course.
had.
Yeah.
But that will bring in a lot of people. There's a lot of talk about what's going to happen with the FBI right now. That will bring in a lot of people. And so
Yeah.
that's the thing that we got to realize is that other people are coming here. And you got to remember, when you come from a place, a lot of people already came from Virginia for the FBI, right? So, well, they had a $750,000 house
Yeah.
because the prices are so much more there. So they sell the house and they come here and they buy a $500,000 house, which is still a wonderful home here. Well, they got 250,000 extra dollars, and they're like, well, what do we do with this? And they can go buy other investments or whatever. And
Yeah.
so that's kind of what's helped drive our prices up. Is that people are like, cool, I want that house. I'll pay 550 instead of 510 for it because I want the house because they had it in their equity. And so a lot of people have equity built up right now.
Yeah. One more question for you. You've been an agent for years and years. I mean, heck, you're now the president of an entire real estate company. So you've really seen it all. You have surely had clients, say maybe 18 months ago or 2 years ago, where
Mm-hmm.
interest rates climbed 3 points.
Yeah.
But they had to go ahead and buy the house. They're crying. They're at 6%. It's just, I mean, it was devastating, right? It's just absolutely devastating. And they probably just, it felt so heavy. How would you say those clients are feeling now, 2 years later? Would you say that they're sitting pretty and their houses have gained value and they're glad they bit the bullet even though interest rates jumped?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say they're happy. I would think that they're not as happy as the people who had 3%, but they are so happy because their houses still gain value. We're still seeing above an average increase in this area, and then the nation is still seeing an increase in prices. So if you buy now at a higher rate, your house is still gaining value. So you're still getting your loan pay down, and that value goes up. So you're still building that equity. So even the people who bought at 6 are like, man, well, here's what you should be encouraged with. One, it's still sitting between 6 and 7. We haven't really moved that needle much. We'll probably see a dip into the fives next year. Maybe just kind of depends on how a couple things go. And so this is going to be our new norm. This should be our new norm. And so because of that, when you feel good about it in that regard, like, hey, this is actually the norm. I didn't pay over. I paid pretty much what the normal is. I just didn't get it on sale. That's kind of what you're kind of having to tell yourself here. I'm buying at MSRP, not where it was, is kind of how it is. But you're not paying over as a whole. I mean, there's some days that it goes up and down, but know that your house value is still going up. Over our country's history, there's only been one time that we have seen sustained decline of home prices, and that was in 2008. That was because the real estate market caused the economic crash.
Yeah.
Remember that even during the Great Depression, we didn't see a sustained decline. We saw a decline, but it didn't stay long, and we dipped right out.
Yeah, so good. Well, hey, Beau, we could talk for a while, but
Yeah.
we'll go ahead and let our viewers take this to the dinner table and then contact you at Redstone Realty Solutions when they have further questions. Get in touch with Beau Miles. I will say Beau Miles, he is the best texter in the world. His number is in our YouTube caption on allthingsmadison.com, Facebook, Instagram. If you text him now, he's going to respond in the next 15 seconds. It's his superpower. I am not that way, but
I'm
truly.
OCD and I can't handle that little red
Yeah.
button. That's all this is.
Yes, but if you have a question, truly reach out to him and he would be happy to talk you through it and get you set up with who you need to talk to. So hope you guys have a very Merry Christmas. Thank you for joining Beau and I in 2024, and we look forward to our January 2025.
Bye.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.